Saint Augustine commentary on Psalm 52 following. And the just shall see and shall fear, and of him they shall laugh. Verse 7. Shall fear when? Shall laugh when? Let us therefore understand and make a distinction between those two types of fearing and laughing, which have their several uses. For so long as we are in this world, not yet must we laugh, lest hereafter we mourn. We have read what is reserved at the end for this doing. We have read, and because we understand and believe, we see but fear. This therefore has been said, the just shall see and shall fear. So long as we see what will result at the end to evil men, wherefore do we fear? Because the apostle has said, in fear and trembling work out your own salvation. Philippians 2:12. Because it has been said in a psalm, serve the Lord in fear, and exalt unto him with trembling. Wherefore with fear? Wherefore let him that thinks himself to stand see that he fall not. 1 Corinthians 10:12. Wherefore with trembling? Because he says in another place, Brethren, if a man shall have been overtaken in any delinquency, you that are spiritual instruct such sort in the spirit of gentleness, heeding yourself, yes, you also be tempted. Galatians 6:1. Therefore the just that are now that live of faith, so see this doing, what to him is to result, that nevertheless they fear also for themselves. For what they are today they know, what tomorrow they are to be they know not. Now therefore the just shall see and they shall fear. But when shall they laugh? When iniquity shall have passed over, when it shall have flown over, as now to a great degree has flown over the time uncertain. When shall have been put to flight the darkness of this world, wherein now we walk not but by the lamp of the Scriptures, and therefore fear as thou in night. For we walk by prophecy, whereof says the Apostle Peter, we have a most sure prophetic word, to which giving heed ye do well, as to a lamp shining in a dark place, until the day shine and the day star arise in our hearts. 2 Peter 1:19. So long then as by a lamp we walk, it is needful that with fear we should live. But when shall have come our day, that is, the manifestation of Christ, whereof the same apostle says, when Christ shall have appeared, your life then ye also shall appear with himself in glory. Colossians 3:4. Then the just shall laugh at that doing. But what shall they then say that shall laugh? And of him they shall laugh and shall say, Behold a man that has not set God for his helper. Verse 8. See ye the body earthly, as much as you shall have, so great shall you be, is a proverb of covetous men, of grasping men, of men oppressing the innocent, of men seizing upon other men's goods, of men denying things entrusted to their care. Of what sort is this proverb? As much as you shall have, so great shall you be. That is, as much as you shall have had of money, as much as you shall have gotten, by so much the more mighty shall you be. Behold a man that has not set God for his helper, but has trusted in the multitude of his riches. Let not a poor man, one perchance that is evil, say, I am not of this body, for he has heard the prophet saying, He has trusted in the multitude of his riches. Forthwith, if he is poor, he heeds his rags. He has observed near him perchance a rich man among the people of God, more richly apparelled, and he says in his heart, of this man he speaks. Does he speak of me? Do not thence accept yourself, do not separate yourself, unless you shall have seen and feared, in order that you may hereafter laugh. For what does it profit you, if thou dost want means, and you burn with cupidity? When our Lord Jesus Christ to that rich man that was grieved, and that was departing from him, had said, Go, sell all that you have and give to the poor, and you shall have treasure in heaven, and come, follow me. Matthew 19:21. And great hopelessness for rich men foretold, so that he said more easily could a camel pass through the eye of a needle than a rich man enter into the kingdom of heaven. Matthew 19:24. Were not forthwith the disciples grieved, saying with themselves, Who shall be able to be saved? Therefore, when they were saying, Who shall be able to be saved? Did they think of the few rich men? Did there escape them so great a multitude of poor men? Could they not say to themselves, If it is hard, aye, an impossible thing, that rich men should enter into the kingdom of heaven, as it is impossible that a camel should enter through the eye of a needle, let all poor men enter into the kingdom of heaven. Be the rich alone shut out? For how few are the rich men? But of poor men are thousands innumerable. For not the courts are we to look upon in the kingdom of heaven, but for every one's garment shall be reckoned the effulgence of righteousness. There shall be therefore poor men equals to angels of God, clothed with the stores of immortality. They shall shine as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. What reason is there for us about a few rich men to be concerned or distressed? This thought not the apostles, but when the Lord had spoken this, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of heaven. They, saying to themselves, Who shall be able to be saved? Meant what? Not means, but desires. For they saw even poor men themselves, even if not having money, yet to have covetousness. And that you may know that not money in a rich man, but covetousness is condemned, attend to what I say. Thou observest that rich man standing near you, and perchance in him is money, and is not covetousness. In you is not money, and is covetousness. A poor man full of sores, full of woe, licked by dogs, having no help, having no morsel, not having perchance a mere garment, was borne by the angels into Abraham's bosom. Luke 16:22. Oh, being a poor man, are you glad now? For are even sores by you to be desired? Is not your patrimony soundness? There is not in this Lazarus the merit of poverty, but that of godliness. For you see who was borne up, you see not whither he was borne up. Who was borne up by angels? A poor man full of woe, full of sores. Whither was he borne up? Into Abraham's bosom. Read the scriptures, and you shall find Abraham to have been a rich man. Genesis 13:2. In order that you may know that not riches are blamed, Abraham had much gold, silver, cattle, household, was a rich man, and unto his bosom Lazarus a poor man was borne up. Unto bosom of rich man, poor man, are not rather both unto God rich men, both in cupidity poor men? Therefore that man having been condemned, that has trusted in the multitude of his riches, and has prevailed in his vanity, for what more vain than he that thinks coin more to avail than God? Therefore that man having been condemned, that said, Blessed of the people to whom these things are, thou that sayest, Blessed the people of whom is the Lord their own God, dost think of yourself what? Dost hope for yourself what? But I now at length hear that body, but I am like an olive, fruit bearing in the house of God. Verse 9. Not one man speaks but that olive fruit bearing, whence have it been pruned the proud branches, and the humble wild olive graft in. Romans 11:17. Like an olive fruit bearing in the house of God, I have trusted in the mercy of God. He did what? In the multitude of his riches. Therefore his root shall be plucked out from the land of the living. But I, because like an olive fruit bearing in the house of God, the root whereof is nourished is not rooted out, have trusted in the mercy of God. But perchance now, for even herein men err sometimes, God indeed they worship, and are not now like that of Doeg, but thou on God they rely, it is for temporal things nevertheless. So that they say to themselves, I worship my God who will make me rich upon earth, who to me will give sons, who to me will give a wife. Such things indeed gives none but God would not have himself for the sake of such things to be loved. For to this end oftentimes those things he gives even to evil men, in order that some other thing good men of him may learn to seek. In what manner then do you say, I have trusted in the mercy of God? Perchance for obtaining temporal things? Nay, but for everlasting and world without end. The expression for everlasting he will to repeat by adding world without end, in order that by their repeating he might affirm how rooted he was in the love of the kingdom of heaven and in the hope of everlasting felicity. I will confess to you forever because you have done. Verse 10. Hast done what? Doeg you have condemned, David you have crowned. I will confess to you forever because you have done. Great confession, because you have done. Has done what? Except these very things which above have been spoken of, that like an olive fruit bearing in the house of God, I should trust in the mercy of God for everlasting and world without end. You have done, an ungodly man can justify himself. But who is he that justifies? Believing, he says, on him that justifies the ungodly. Romans 4:5. For what have you which you have not received? But if you have received, why do you glory as if you have not received, as if of yourself you have? 1 Corinthians 4:7. Be it far from me that I should so glory, says he, that is opposed doing against Doeg, that bears with Doeg upon earth, until he remove from his dwelling and be rooted up from the land of the living. I glory not as if I have not received, but in God I glory. And I will confess to you because you have done. That is, because you have done not according to my merits, but according to your mercy. But I have done what? If you recollect, before I was a blasphemer and a persecutor and injurious. But you, what have you done? But mercy I have obtained, because ignorant I did it. 1 Timothy 1:13. I will confess to you forever, because you have done. And I will look for your name, for it is pleasant. Bitter is the world, but your name is pleasant. Even if certain sweet things are in the world, yet with bitterness they are digested. Your name is preferred, not only for greatness, but also for pleasantness. For unjust men have told to me their delights, but it is not as your law, O Lord. For if there were nothing sweet to the martyrs, they would not have suffered with equanimity so great bitterness of tribulations. Their bitterness by any one was experienced, their sweetness easily could no one taste. The name of God therefore is pleasant to men loving God above all pleasantness. I will look for your name, for it is pleasant. And to what dost thou prove that it is pleasant? Give me a palate to which it is pleasant. Praise honey as much as you are able. Exaggerate the sweetness thereof with what words you shall have the power. A man knowing not what honey is, unless he shall have tasted, what you say knows not. Therefore the rather to the proof the psalm inviting you says what? Taste and see that sweet is the Lord. Taste you will not, and you say, is it pleasant? What is pleasant? If you have tasted in your fruit, be it found not in words alone, as it were only in leaves, lest by the curse of the Lord to wither like that fig tree, Matthew 21:19, you should deserve. Taste, he says, and see that sweet is the Lord. Taste and see, then you shall see, if you shall have tasted. But to a man not tasting, how do you prove? By praising the pleasantness of the name of God, whatsoever things you shall have said are words. Something else is taste. The words of his praise there hear, even the ungodly, but none taste how sweet it is but the saints. Further, a man discerning the sweetness of the name of God, and wishing to unfold and wishing to show the same, and not finding persons to whom he may unfold it, for to the saints there is no need that he show it, because they even of themselves taste and know, but the ungodly can't discern what they will not taste. Does I say what because of the sweetness of the name of God? He has borne him forthwith away from the crowds and the ungodly. And I will look, he says, for your name, for it is pleasant in the sight of your saints. Pleasant is your name, but not in the sight of the ungodly. I know how sweet a thing it is, but it is to them that have tasted